guys, this is me, Malorian, and this is a Warmachine 101. What these are is that I take your questions and I answer them. So once a week, unless I'm too busy, I'll grab your questions from my Mr. Malorian Facebook page and I'll do one of these. And unfortunately for this last one here, I don't have too many questions, but we've got a couple of interesting ones, so we'll get into that. Now the first one's a little bit easier. It comes from Jacob, my buddy up from Grand Prairie, and he says, from a scale from 1 to cocaine, how good will the King of the North tournament be? Now, I know this is kind of like, just like plugging that one a bit, but hey, why not? King of the North is a good-sized tournament up from Grand Prairie, Alberta, like I was saying, and so they got like a good group of guys up there who'll normally play, but it's a good drive to get up there. So from Edmonton, which is in the middle of Alberta, it's a good 5-hour drive to get up there. Could be 4.5 depending on how fast you drive, but it's a fair drive. Now, this one here will be probably around 40 players. We're hoping. It kind of depends on who all comes, but it's going to be a fantastic time. Just to kind of, again, plug it, this is in Grand Prairie. It's July 16th and 17th. It's a 2-day steamroller that's going on there with also a team event as well, and it's going to be amazing. And if you want any more information, just let me know and I'll link you down. Actually, I'll just put a link to the event page down below. Why not? But something I want to kind of go on with this as well is that a lot of people are very, I don't want to call it like closed-minded, but limited when it comes to what tournaments they'll go to. They're like, well, we got some tournaments here, that's all I'm going to do, done. And that's really bad for a couple of reasons. One, getting this interconnection is really important for the community. If you have your town here and there's another one 2 hours that way, another one 3 hours that way, you guys can kind of all do your own thing and have your own little small groups, but it's when you start interacting that you can start having these larger events, right? It's one thing to be nice where it's like, oh, okay, we got 8 people here for the steamroller, sure, but when you start getting to 40 or something larger, it's like, wow, this is now an event. So just the communities working together can make your experience so much better. The next thing is it's also a big advantage for you. You get really used to playing in your own meta. Even if you're in a fairly larger city compared to what's around you, if you're always playing in that same group over and over and over and over again, you're just going to learn to play against what you normally see over and over and over again. Now, that might be not very true right now where we're just getting to Mark III and who knows what you're going to be going into, but that almost still kind of holds true with the learning part. So if all of a sudden I decide, you know what, we have tournaments here, but there's a tournament that's 2 hours away. How about we go to that one and give that a try? You head over there, and then not only are you starting to experience different builds, which is going to make you play to them and learn them and make you a better player, but also just getting to experience new ideas, right? It's one thing to say like, okay, Kane 2 can't assassinate it this is the way I'll have to do that, but by watching other players saying, oh wow, they took this build. Oh, I see, they're trying to do this. Oh, wow, I didn't even think of that combination, right? There can be a lot of learning going on. And you can kind of be saying like, oh yeah, I know all this stuff anyway. I don't really need to go over there and see it. Okay, well, unless you're like a guy like Jay Larson or something where you know all this, or Picani, right? You probably need to go out there and see this stuff. So really, if there are other events that are 2 hours away, 3 hours away, 5 hours away, 8 hours away, you probably should still keep them in your radar, right? Maybe it's something you don't do all the time, right? Maybe you don't go out to those ones every single month that they have monthly steamrollers, but just like, you know what? Once a year, I should try and really make it out to this event over here just to get that experience, get that community link, and, really it's just a lot more fun. We're going to be doing this with a group of guys, getting in a van, driving up there, and it's going to be a hell of a fun time. So on a scale to 1 to cocaine, I don't want to incriminate anyone, so I'm going to say a 9. Although I'm sure some people go all the way. So there we go, guys. There's the first question. Second one here is also from Jacob, and he's actually talking about Snapjaw and Wrong Eye and the whole fact that they now have star-crossed. Now, this really goes back to, we got brand new cards here, and you really need to go through them and read them to see what's going on. And to be fair, this was a jaw-dropper for me. Before this question, I'd already seen this, but when I first saw that they have star-crossed, I really couldn't believe it. So let's kind of get into them because, you know, a lot of people, amazingly, don't really play a lot of Snapjaw and Wrong Eye. Maybe in their area, there's not a lot of minions. They kind of see them the same level as, you know, Brung and Lug used to be, or Scareth, and whatever the snake's name, and the little elf chick. You know, you didn't really see them at all, right? So they're actually really good. So before, they used to be 9 points. So they should have been 18 now. They're 17, so they're even cheaper than what they used to be. For you guys wondering if they work for you, of course, if you are in minions, you're good to go. But otherwise, they're going to work for Crix, for Circle, for Legion, Scorn, and Trollblood. So, you know, mainly on the Horde side, but still Crix, it could sneak in there too. Now, what you're getting from this is this interesting package where you have Snapjaw, the big, huge, heavy, and you got Wrong Eye, the little warlock that goes along with it. And normally, the biggest weakness you see with these things is like, well, if you kill off the warlock, normally the big beast kind of like goes wild or inert, depending on what you're looking at. So, I mean, it's a big weakness, right? The guy just dies and Snapjaw's a waste. But because of the Animus, which is Submerge on Snapjaw there, that makes it so that they can't be targeted by ranged or magical attacks. And that's a huge counter to anything that's ranged based or magic based. You know, at least some things where you have like anti-range tech, you just blast it with magic. If you have anti-magic tech, then you just hit it with range. They just like, no, you just can't even shoot me. So between that Animus and then also having transfers or stuff like that, it is really hard to be killing Wrong Eye. So right there, one of the biggest weaknesses that you sometimes see with these other things, it's really not a weakness here. Like, it's really, really strong. And let's say if your opponent is throwing some, I don't know, some range models on one side, there's gun mages or something like that, they can't do anything. He just keeps on going up, submerge, 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 yeah, you're all dead. And there's nothing you can do. So very, very powerful tech right there. Now, there's also a fact where if that wasn't enough for keeping them safe, they also heal themselves. So, Wrong Eye, he has on his thing, oh, he got tough now. I can't remember if he had tough before. I don't think so. But he has tough now, which helps. But also on his weapon, he also has Life Drinker. So every single time he kills somebody, or is that on him? Oh, I might be wrong with this. Yeah, this is on Wrong Eye here for sure. Not Snapjaw, this is separate. He has Life Drinker. So this is going to go and heal him every single time he kills someone. So if you are starting to lose some health and you're kind of up there and you kind of want to kill some guys, well, sure, kill some guys and it's going to heal you as well. But probably more important, because you kind of want to keep Wrong Eye back, is Snapjaw. And Snapjaw has this nice little bond with Wrong Eye so that whenever he boxes a model, he gets to remove it from play. So first of all, remove from play tech, really good. If there's anybody working on recursion or trying to, they can't reave any fury if you kill a beast with this, or they're trying to get souls or corpses. It's like, no, you're removed from play. So very, very powerful right there. But as well, by Snapjaw killing somebody, well, now he can either heal himself or he can be healing up somebody else as well. Like, not somebody else. It'd have to be Wrong Eye. So again, if somehow somebody gets a charge through and somebody gets a little bit of damage onto Wrong Eye there, Snapjaw just keeps on killing and says, here you go, boss, you're all healed up. And of course, Snapjaw, if he starts getting wounded, well, okay, I'll just kill some guys and heal up. Maybe he lost his spirit. So with your first initials, you kill somebody, you remove them from play, and then hurrah, now I got my spirit healed and I can start buying attacks. So really, really good. Past that, one of the things that's a little bit more situational, but on Snapjaw's tail, he has knockdown. So if you ever really have to kind of deal with some defense that you have to get around, you do have that, where you can start trying to go for that crit knockdown on the tail. Not the best thing to kind of be relying on, but it's a tool that's there to be looking at. I keep on thinking that he should be able to throw too, but he doesn't. He has his bite attack and his tail attack, so he doesn't have open fists, so you can't do those shenanigans, but still, if you need to get around something, you can go for that crit knockdown. So, again, like maybe let's say if something has Enliven or something where you're going to hit it and then it's going to move away or something like that, right? This one here is like, nope, boom, you're knocked down, you're done. Another one here we can really be looking at now is, well, actually let's jump to it, the spells. The spells on Snapjaw, no, before he had two different ones. One was situational, and the other one was also situational. And the first one is influence. So you get to do that spell to a guy, and if you hit them, you take control of them, and they can try and hit somebody else. It's a lot of dice involved, because you have to roll to hit them, they have to roll to hit their buddy, and then you have to roll to beat armor, and then maybe there's tough or something like that. So sure, sometimes it came in play, but not really. His other one was Voodoo Doll. Now, Voodoo Doll, that one was more interesting, where if you hit a war beast, you just pick one aspect to be crippled. So, you know that spirit? Yeah, it's crippled. I don't care if you heal it. There's nothing there to really even heal. You are crippled. And so it really was situational-ish before, because it only was like range 8 or something, so to get up there and do it, you're in a little bit of danger, and if you miss, you know, you're in a lot of danger. But with the Blind Walker coming out, that was starting to be a little bit something where like, wow, he can actually go and do this from further out, and that can be a game changer, right? All of a sudden where a Key Heavy or a Gargantuan or something like that has a crippled aspect, wow, they're in a lot of trouble. Well, they got rid of that, so okay, that's gone. What's there instead? Well, now there is Starcrossed, and Starcrossed, of course, you've seen on Calandra, very, very powerful. So how it works for this is that if you're within range of it, which is control, the enemies have to roll an additional die for their attack rolls, and then they're going to be dropping the highest. And yeah, that's crazy. Like sometimes when you're going in, you're like, oh, 7s, you know, that's kind of on a 50-50. No, 7s are now hard to hit. 6s are questionable, right? When you're rolling, you're trying to get something like a 5. Then it's like, okay, I think I'm safe now, but that Starcross can make a huge difference. Now, it is control, and whereas old Calandras were going out 14 inches, this one's just going to be going out 7, so it's not crazy how far it's going out, but this is a great thing where you can be doing this around a bulk of other models that you want to protect. So it's not going to be doing this against, say, like range attacks so much, because range attacks will probably be made outside of this. And again, he's not worried about the range attacks himself, because he's probably going to submerge. He has enough fury that he can submerge and do this. You'll have no transfers, but you really should be safe. But where this is really going to come in then is that if he is kind of in behind some infantry that you want to kind of protect, or other beasts, then it gets really difficult. And this is where if we go back to some of these ones are being affected, or they can actually take them, you can see where this is a big deal. And I think one of the biggest ones is Circle. Now, Circle is already known for some of their war beasts that has higher defense, right? You got these defense 14 warp wolves and all these crazy things, and they can be kind of a real pain to kind of hit, because, you know, hey, you're not like a Kador Jack that's like armor 9 or 10 or something silly. You know, like, you might be missing these guys quite often, especially if there's any other defensive tech on it. Well, if you add in Starcrossed, and you're saying, okay, I'm Mat 6, I need to hit this guy, I need to roll an 8. So, okay, a boosted 8, I'm probably okay, but now you throw in there Starcrossed. So, you were already kind of being forced to boost anyway, and now there's actually a solid chance that that boost is gonna miss. And when you start going in after their heavies and you're missing, it's going to go down quick. This is a massive attrition turn where all of a sudden, like, okay, you failed and you're right here. Getrix, go get him. And you can be down on your attrition really quickly just because of Starcrossed. And even someone like Wrong Eye, where I believe, or Snapjaw, where I believe he's defense 12 still. Anyway, that defense 12, which normally, you know, Mat 6 stuff, like, okay, I need 6s to hit. Now under that Starcrossed, again, even he can be a real question. It's like, wow, normally I wouldn't be boosting, but now I got to boost every single one of these to hits. And if I'm boosting all these to hits on Snapjaw, I'm going to be getting less attacks. And if I get less attacks, I'm probably not going to kill him. And then it's a simple matter of either healing him up and then he takes out your heavy, or he just starts killing infantry and heals himself back up anyway. So very, very powerful. Now, if you look at some of the other options, something like Crix, you know, maybe if you're going for more of a higher defense thing, if you have a lot of witches or something in there, I'm not really sure how well that would do in there. One thing that'd probably be nicer, so more so than the Starcrossed, is just the fact that you have that anti-shooting tech. So, of course, the Cricks always hate being shot, and if you add in these guys, it's like, wow, okay, that's all of a sudden not good to have guns anymore because I can't do anything to these guys. And then if they ever do have any of the higher defense pieces, getting some Starcross behind it, sure, okay. I think it fits better in Circle, but I could see it in Cricks. You know, maybe you've got some higher defense Jacks. You might try and do the same thing there. Again, probably not the same potency there, but still something to think about. Some of these other ones, like Legion, I could definitely see it in Legion. Their defenses are a little bit lower, but even then, it's kind of type of a thing where before, where it's like, okay, I'm going to be hitting your heavies because they're like defense 11. Well, now you might want to be thinking about that, right? If I need 5s, that's where like the 5s normal, some of those are going to miss. Or if you take some of the beasts that are higher, let's say if you take Rakes. If you have Rakes and they're covered by Starcrossed, good luck trying to hit those guys. They're like defense 15, and if you want to try and hit those guys that are Starcrossed, yeah. And all of a sudden we get a list that is full of stealth Rakes and a submerged war beast and little buddy there. Yeah, what are you going to do about that? So really problematic. So interesting stuff there that you can do with Legion. If we move on to Scorn, Scorn could be, like, again, they're kind of normally lower defenses. They don't really have a lot of those pieces which are the higher defense. So I think it would have to be more of a thing where they're beefing up the infantry, because some of the infantry have higher defenses. So it's probably more of the same level where Crix is, where sure, there's maybe a few interesting spots you can put it in there, but I don't think it's as massive as it is in Legion or Circle. And then the last one there is going to be Trollbloods. Again, normally the defenses are lower all over across the board, so probably not going to be huge. But then again, something else you can be keeping in mind for guys like Trolls and also like your casters with in Scorn rather with your Warlocks is that you kind of need to protect them too, and they'll have higher defense. And if you are playing a Warlock that wants to get further up the board, so maybe your Madrak 2 or maybe your Xerxes or something like that, and you just want to add that extra layer of difficult to deal with, well, if he has a buddy like Wrong Eye and Snapjaw there with him, it's like, okay, sure, you can come in, you can hit my beast, and you're going to kill them, but if you ever try and go against my caster, yeah, Starcross is going to come into effect, and it's going to be even harder to kill my Warlock. And all of a sudden, that lets you play your Warlock a little bit further ahead. You're going to be very careful, though, right? If you're doing these things with Starcrossed, that means if you want to keep things in that 7-inch bubble, Wrong Eye is going to have to be pretty far up there. And you know that he's going to be immune to shooting and magic, so it's just going to be melee that you have to worry about there. So whether it's a bubble of infantry or a bubble of heavies, whatever it is, you're going to have to make sure your positioning is right to protect him. But if you get him in the right spot and it's protecting the right things, it can be a game changer. So there you go, guys. There's the Warmachine 101 for today. And I'll be posting a new one here for questions on the Friday on the Mr. Malloyan Facebook page. And we'll catch you then. Bye. Hey there, if you liked watching this video, please go down and give it a like down below you here. And if you have any concerns or questions or comments, please put those in the comment section as well. You know, the best way for me to give you what you want to see is if you tell me what you like seeing and what you don't like seeing. So otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you later.